Okay, so we're on the right-hand side of my CyberX, and these are the stock cranks that came with the CyberX. And as you can see, I had a little problem with the stock crank arms scratching or gouging into this motor enclosure side plate. I knew I was always going to switch out these cranks because I wanted what are called Pegals. Pegals is a crank that can fold up and stay in place like a motorcycle pedal. The reason why you want to use these is anybody who has raced BMX in the day and or just even rode a bike and BMX bikes especially, you can do what's called high side the pedal, where when you're making a right hand turn and the pedal is down, it could possibly hit the ground. It can really throw you off the bike. I didn't want to play around with this e-bike and possibly high side doing 40 miles per hour and get thrown off the bike. So I knew right away I was going to install these Pegals, which will prevent you the crank arm from being down when you make a right hand turn if you forget, and high siding. I raced BMX, so when you race BMX, you kind of learn to adjust your pedals when you make a left hand turn or a right hand turn to make sure if you're making a right hand turn, you want the right hand pedal up and the left hand pedal down. But I didn't want to take a chance. Like I said, if when this thing does 50 miles per hour, you high side this pedal on the ground and it'll throw you right off the bike. So let's go ahead and remove this crank arm. The way you remove the stock cranks is you take an Allen wrench, a bigger size Allen wrench, and what you want to do is you want to first of all loosen this nut right here that holds the crank in place, and that was pretty simple. So on the other side it was not that tight at all. The first thing you want to do is loosen this nut. Okay. Going to use the crank as a little bit of leverage there. Boy, it was not that tight at all. I've never replaced cranks on an e-bike before. I've replaced cranks on a bicycle before, but only on a Schwinn Stingray, and everybody knows what that's shaped like almost like a S that goes all the way through the crank housing, and you really don't need a crank puller. But to be able to pull this crank off that spindle, you're going to need what's called a bike crank extractor, which I have right here. Okay, I got Omar's. I'll leave a link in the description of where I got it. I got it on eBay. It was, gosh, I can't even remember. It was $9 or $10 or something, $11 I think. And it comes with a wrench, a little part that actually screws into the crank, and then this little almost piston screws in and pushes the crank out. So let me show you how to do this. So I'm going to screw this little part into the crank. I've already removed the nut that holds the crank on, and now I'm going to extract the crank. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is screw this little part in, and you want to be real careful, like I said, to not cross thread it, because you would have a heck of a time getting it off, and it would just cause a lot of trouble. So take your time doing that, and I can feel that it is going on real nice and easy. I'm going to screw it in almost all the way. You can do it by hand. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now you take this, the push part, and you screw this right into there, It has threads inside. Push right in. And you're screwing this in clockwise, tightening, righty-tighty, until you feel it hit the spindle coming off the motor. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then Omar's gives you this little tool to give you a little bit more leverage. You could probably put a crescent wrench on both parts, but I already did the other side and it was really easy. And I found that just using the tool, the little handle part that they send you, makes this job a whole bunch easier. You could put a ratchet in the end here and ratchet it off, but I'm just going to use a crescent wrench. Okay, so I need to get a little bit more leverage. And tighten up the crescent wrench that I'm actually pushing on the little piston or the little pusher part of the bike the crank extractor tool. They also call it a removal tool or a crank puller. Okay, and what you want to do is just tighten it up a little bit, and as that pushes in there, a little bit more leverage. Like to the other side, real easy. This side. Okay, so you want to hold with one hand, and I'm actually tightening. I want to be real careful because I don't want my bike falling. It's a little hard, but I can feel it's loosening it, and that's it, man. Okay, as I'm tightening the little pusher piston, it's actually pushing the crank off the spindle. Okay, now it's real loose. As you can see, you can almost grip my hand now. Look at that. Okay, and that's it. Voila. And that is how you remove the stock cranks. And as you can see, this is where the cranks were scraping on this part of the motor enclosure plate. You could probably grind this down, or you could probably grind that down. I didn't want to do either of those because I knew I was going to be installing Pegals, which will, I'll put this on here, I'll put it on the spindle real quick so you get an idea of what we're talking about. You can see that these lock into place, and now they're just like a motorcycle peg. Right now I'm going to remove this motor enclosure side plate, because like I said, I'm going to be sending it back to Zion, and they're going to send me some new ones. And when I get the new ones back from Zion, I'll install them, and then I'll install my Pegals. Okay? I saw a lot of people online trying to do this job without this crank extractor or crank removal tool, and it was very hard. As you can see, when you buy the right tools, makes the job 100% easier. How many times have you said that in your life where the right tool makes the job so much easier? And let me tell you, that's one of them. So I went and got my star and we're just going to remove 4 screws, and that should release this right side motor enclosure side panel. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. by removing these panels, it'll give us a good chance to look inside at the motor on the CyberX. Yeah, that's it. Just those four bolts, or what are holding the side panel, the motor enclosure side panel, in place. I'm doing this kind of awkward because I'm trying to film it and I don't have anybody here who can film while I'm working, so I'm trying to do it all by myself here. Okay. There it is. Well, this is, you can't see the motor from this side, but you can get a good look at the belt drive and the counter sprockets behind the belt drive there and the chain. And it's a pretty nice setup. So, like I said, I got to send these panels back off to Zion Bikes. They're going to send me the new panels, and when they send me the new panels, that's when I will shoot some video of me installing these cool Pegals. And like I said, I'll leave a link in the description to the Omar's crank extractor tool. Get their name on there. And I will leave a link in the video where you can purchase these Pegals. These things were a little expensive, but let me tell you something. You high side your bike doing 30, 40 miles per hour. This thing weighs about, I think, 400 pounds. You're gonna be in trouble. So safety first. I haven't even rode my bike yet. I haven't even started this bike yet. I like to make sure everything is set up the way I want it before I ride the bike. And here is the left side of the CyberX. As you can see, I've already got the side panel off. I actually took this panel off first before I started filming, and then I jumped on the right-hand side. But as you can see, I have the Pegal in place, and you can unclip these and use them. They would extend out like the stock crank arms would be, or you fold them in and lock them into place, and then they're just like a motorcycle peg. Do I have the peg on the other side? I don't, but you get the idea. Here, I'll put the peg on. Okay. Put the Pegal on the spindle there. And there you see that the Pegals, when you're focused, that when you're riding your CyberX, you don't have to worry about high siding the crank arms on the ground when you're making a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn. Those pegs would be just like the pegs are on a motorcycle. How about that beauty? 1978 Z1R 1000. Okay. Okay, everybody, as you can see, I got my side panels back. I decided not to send them over to, or send them back to Zion Bikes to replace my panels, because they wanted me to send my panels away, and they weren't going to send me the new ones until they had received these in the mail. And I knew I could go right over here to my friend at Precision Power Coating and get him to powder coat them, and he did it. I dropped them off in the morning, and they were done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I got them back, in one day. And as you can see, they came out really nice. And I'm glad I did this because, if I was going to send them over back to Zion Bikes, they were going to send me back, stock black side panels. And as you can see, when I was at the Power Coat guy, I said, you know what? Let's go with red. And I'm glad I did, because as you can see, it came out fantastic. I think that they look way better on my bike. The red is the exact red of the frame. So let's go ahead and start installing these back. I'm going to use a little bit of Loctite on each one of my bolts here. It's medium Loctite. Be very easy to get them off. You just put one little drop on there. They're going in a lot more snug than they came out, and I believe because, you know, when the guy power coated them, you know, it's hard to not get powder coat at the end of the little threaded stud that's in there that holds them in place. Okay, after a little bit of manipulating of the panel, because it's a little bit, the powder coating put just, you know, like a 32nd of an inch, whatever it was, wasn't allowing it to fit in properly, but I think I got it now. Perfect. Beautiful. That's what I should have done in the first place. Should have put the back ones in and then pushed the panel over. So anybody out there getting any powder coating done, you'll know what you have to do here. I had to adjust that to get it to line up. So let me take it back out, put a little bit of Loctite on there. Put a little bit too much. You just want to reel a little bit on there so it goes through the threads as you're screwing it in, and it just helps keep the screws from vibrating loose. Screws are going in a lot easier now too, because, you know, I screwed them in once already. Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. I think that red panel looks so much better than all black. Sometimes things work out for a reason, because I like my side panels red. And it only cost me $35 per side, $70. And the guy got them back to me in one day. Brought them in the morning, and he had them back to me. They were done at like 3:30 that day. Okay, so that panel's on. I got Loctite, feels good. So let's put the Peggle on while we're on this side. Okay, I have to extend the Peggle out to get access to the mounting bolt. Okay. I'm going to put a real little bit of Loctite on here. I saw a couple people online saying don't do this, but I don't care what they say. This is medium Loctite, and the blue Loctite. They have red Loctite that's heavy lock, and I don't want to use that. So putting the Pegals on is just reverse of taking the crank off. I want to get some good leverage, but I don't want to knock my bike over. Oh, that seems to be okay. That's it. That's good enough. Okay. And like I said, I got a little bit of Loctite on there, so once that dries, it should be good to go. Once you lock this panel in place, this Peggle in place, there it is. There you go. Now that's how it locks right in place. Look at that. Okay. Very nice. Now the crank arm is not even touching the side panel, and it came out really good. Let me get a close-up of it. But as you can see, everything's in place now, and the Peggle can spin without scarring the side panel. Okay, beautiful. Okay, let's jump to the other side. Finish this up. this side should go a lot smoother. Because I won't have to take any of the power coat off. I hope not. I hope I didn't just jinx myself. I tried it dry and it fit nice, but you never know when you go to screw it in what's going to happen. Okay, there was one other thing I wanted to show everybody, that I went and bought these little grommets, and the reason why I bought them is that there was a gap right here where the side panel doesn't go all the way against the frame because there's some wires here. Matter of fact, I wanted to put a zip tie on here before we get started. But anyways, I bought these grommets and they worked perfect. And they're gonna hold the side panel out just enough where they don't pinch the brake line and this other line, which is the lights for the wheel. I didn't want them pinching them, so that's that. So I can see right here where I have a very good spot where I could wire tie this. So let me grab a wire tie and secure that line in place a little bit before we get started. But I wanted to wire tie these things together and then wire tie it to the frame so it's not bouncing around. There you go. It's a lot nicer of a job. It'll hold them in place a little better. And what I did was I ran the wire tie through the frame. There was a hole in the frame. How about that? We'll give one wire tie right up here too. Okay. Now that everything's nice and wire tied up, we can go ahead and put our panel on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the little excess wire ties. And now we're ready to mount this side panel. Okay. I'm going to put the thicker side of the grommet towards the frame. This grommet has a little metal part in there too for a screw, so that's going to stiffen it up a little bit. Hoping this panel fits on a little better. Yeah, see, this one's going on a little bit better. And like I said, I'm going to grab the camera and show you right now what I'm talking about. I hope that don't fall. So you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay. When it came to me, there's a little gap right here that is meant for, you know, to not pinch those wires. So what I'm going to do, let me see if I can get all this. I'm trying to hold the camera. I'm going to use this grommet to, you know, hold the panel out and give it a little space so where the wires run. Once again, here's the grommet. Focus. I picked these up at Ace Hardware. I think they're 3/4 of an inch. Hopefully everything will line up a little bit better on this side. Okay. There's 4 screws that hold this side panel on, and I can see that it's not fitting in all the way like I want it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crescent wrench and just bend this little ridge in the swing arm up a little bit to allow for the difference in the powder coating on this side panel. Let's just bend this up just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of room to fit in better. I saw another guy's video where he was talking about the kickstand that's mounted to this little ridge too bends a little bit when he was using his kickstand to hold the bike up, which is stupid, but And he was actually using the kickstand to lift up the back tire. It was, and then he said, "Oh, the kickstand bent a little bit, huh? Well, what do you think?" Okay. That should do it. And if not, I'll do it some more. I tell you, let's put the screws in and just see how it fits, just the way it is. I can see that it's not. Maybe that's better that it's not going in all the way, because it allows room for the cable there. Yeah, my grommet's going to hold it out farther than that in anyways. Okay, so let's do it this way. This will be fine. Okay. Okay. I think I want the grommet in this way. Okay. Let me see if I can get a close-up on the video of what I'm talking about. As you can see, well, my hands are in the way. But, this is what I came up with to hold this panel away from the frame a little bit, because, like I said, when they shipped it to me, this panel was actually bending in a little bit, and there was a big gap, nothing holding it. Was, you know, anybody who has a CyberX will know what I'm talking about. Okay. I want to put a little Loctite on these, so that's not going to work there. I was just doing it there. Put a little Loctite on these. Once again, using medium Loctite, the blue, not the red. You just want a drop on there, you don't want a lot. In fact, I'm going to take off the excess. There we go. Oh yeah, that's going to work out really well. Oh yeah. I might need to back that screw out though. Get the grommet in place. Let's do that. I just wanted to see if it all went together the way I thought it was gonna. Matter of fact, I want to take the whole panel off and put it all together before I do it. I know a better way to do this. I was just testing there to make sure it all fit the way I wanted it to before I tried to put it together. You know what they say, measure twice, cut once. The same thing here. You want to try things out for you. Wrench them into place. I don't want to tighten it down all the way. I want to get these front screws in first before I tighten everything down. Yeah, see, these line up a lot better. Oh yeah. Yeah, perfect. Okay, see how that side, this side was a lot easier to line everything up due to the fact that it wasn't, there wasn't little fins on the side panel preventing it from moving forward. I saw at Ace Hardware, and I think they have them at Home Depot too, they had every screw needed to, if you ever needed to replace a screw, I would suggest Ace Hardware or Home Depot. They sell them, you know, individually. I think I have some extra ones already sitting around, just in case you come back from a ride and you're missing a screw. And I'm not wrenching down big time tight on these, so just making them nice and tight. Like I said, when the panel came for me from Zion Bikes, this panel was bent in a little bit, and it was actually pinching the brake line. It wasn't pinching it, but it was definitely not giving it enough room. Those grommets are definitely giving a little space to allow that cable to not be pinched. Okay, I'm gonna leave it just like that. I could wrench down a little tighter, but why? I could actually put a lock nut on the back of this top. That Loctite should do its magic though and lock those threads into place. And like I said, once it dries, it's only medium Loctite, so it should be pretty easy to get off if I ever needed to. That's it, man. Okay. Now, let's put my next Peggle on. Let me grab the camera and show everybody what I was talking about, what these grommets did. Okay, my battery says it's getting low, so I hope it was, but you can see that little space there. Focus. Let me see if I can get it to focus. I filled it up with little rubber grommets that I got from Ace Hardware. It's hard to get a shot of it, but I think you get the idea. Right, okay. Let's open up the Peggle so we can get access to the mounting. How you open these Peggles is you lift up that little silver part, and then that releases the Peggle. Then it can lock in place like this, and I have to have it like that so I can get to the mounting screw. And I want to make sure that they're lined up properly. And they are perfect. Okay. Let me double check that. I want to make sure the pegs are the way they should be, because I might want to pedal. I want to have a choice of, yeah, this one needs to be up. Okay, I'm glad I checked that. Okay, wants to be like this. There it is. And then when I close them, when I lock them in place, they'll be more like motorcycle pegs. Okay. Okay. Let's put a little Loctite on this. Once again, medium Loctite. Not going to kill anything. Okay. I don't have any screws left over, which is a good sign. Let's see if I can tighten it down sitting down. I might have to sit up on, get a little leverage going. No, that's good. That's good. You don't need to, you know, wrench down. I'm going to keep an eye on that thing. And when I lock the peg in place, that's going to keep that bolt from ever falling out too, because the crank actually covers this mounting bolt. That's good. All right. I'm gonna check this side. Oh yeah, that's tight. I always like to check everything one last time. Make sure everything's tight. That's perfect. One of the top's a little tight. I mean loose, I would say. But I could wrench it down, but I'm not gonna. Put like Loctite on the threads and I'll keep an eye on it, and this one can be used to tighten up a little bit. That's good. I'm always going to have extra screws handy, just in case you come back from a ride and you're missing a screw. No big deal. Okay, everybody, that's it. So, there they are. There's my new Pegals. My new side panels installed. The Pegals are installed. I double checked all the screws. As you can see, I still have my shipping tag from Zion Bikes. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to check my tire pressure because my bike was sitting just a little bit. And I'm going to go for my first ride. You have to move the golf cart out of the way, and I'm going to try to set the camera up so you can see me drive away. I'm by myself here. I wish somebody was here so they could film me, but I'll just do the best I can by myself. Okay, there it is, Evil CyberX. I double checked all the bolts that I worked on, and let's fire this thing up, see what it looks like. Evil Knievel, baby, number one. As you can see, I got a dash cam, motorcycle dash cam installed on my bike, and I installed, well, I sent that to Ali and he wired it in, but I put these mirrors on, and when my bike first came, they had the phone bracket in the middle, and they had my screen, my dash cam screen over here. And as you can see, I put the dash cam screen right in the middle and moved the phone bracket over here, which I doubt I will ever use. I'm not putting my phone in there. And there's the mirrors. And I will never be looking at that dash cam screen while I'm driving. It's more for just to record my rides. It also has a GPS where it tracks and shows you where you rode. In case anybody runs into me, just for safety reasons, you always want a dash cam, motorcycle dash cam now. But as you can see, I barely have any mileage. I have 4.8 miles on my bike. I think it came with a little bit of mileage on it. I've rode it up and down my block without the Pegals on, maybe 3 or 4 times, but I didn't go anywhere. But I'm gonna, now that I got everything straightened out, I wanna, the panels on, and I'm gonna go for a ride. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, but I don't care. I'm gonna go for a ride. Here's where Ali installed my back dash cam, and as you can see, it's pointing up. He didn't leave me enough slack to mount it the way I want to, so I'm just gonna leave it like that for right now. But I am gonna order a CyberX rack that goes on the back of my bike, and then I'm gonna take that little dash cam and mount it where it'll be pointing better once I get that rack on there. But that's it, everybody. Evil CyberX, ready to go on its maiden ride. Okay? Take it easy, everybody.